Okay, hi guys, welcome everybody. It is Sunday. Now I wanted to talk today about the elements. Now we've all heard about the astrological elements, right? Earth, wind, fire, air. But there's a little twist because in each particular element there's an odd one out, right? So that makes it a little bit more interesting. So let's first start by looking at the fire signs. So we've got Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Obviously, fire is known for being quite bubbly, effervescent, competitive, gung-ho, optimistic, eager to get out there and seize life, gamblers, people who take a chance, people who kind of drawn to activity, right? But what have we got? Aries is represented by the ram, Leo by the lion, so those are both animals, but Sagittarius is represented by a half man, half horse. So Sagittarius stands out as a little bit of the odd one out there. And what this represents is, while the Aries and the Leo represent something that is grounded, earth-based, and in the material realm, Sagittarius, as the final one in the zodiac of the fire signs, represents an evolution. Suddenly, it's half beast, half man, and it's the archer. It's something that is now a leap forward into the future. With the embodiment of man, he has the athleticism and the power of the horse, but the thinking ability, the ability to perceive, analyze, project into the future, and philosophize. So we see there it's a progression, because the astrology is not just about 12 random star signs. It's about a story of life. In a way, tarot is also a story of life. It's the evolution. So Sagittarius represents the evolution of the fire signs, that they should all be aiming to draw their experiences together and find a reason, a meaning, a philosophy. Now, let's have a look at how this works with the earth signs. So in earth, we have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, right? Now, Taurus and Capricorn are respectively the bull and the goat. So it's, again, animal-based signs. But what's Virgo? It's a virgin. The human. Virgo as well, ruled by Mercury. So what this is telling us is, while the earth signs are all grounded, pragmatic, fairly sensible, responsible, sometimes quite materialistic, good with money, good with handling the affairs of life, Virgo represents the subtle power of Mercury, of thought. It represents the power that thought has over earth, right? What is thought linked to? It's linked to the air signs, because all the air signs are more of the thinking, intellectual signs. But Virgo is an earth sign, but ruled by Mercury. It depicts the power of thought to shape things. And what we can see in nature, particularly with wind erosion, or the way often in places like, I suppose, Nevada, the Grand Canyon, various places in Africa, that they don't see water, but over many, many eons, the wind has subtly shaped the landscape. It's created sort of, not mountains as such, but it's created interesting shapes out of the landscape. So there we have our earth signs. Earth is so solid, it can seem like, a rock and a hard place, immovable, infinite, and unchangeable. But Virgo, as an earth sign, shows the power of thought to subtly change things over time, which is something that all earth signs should be aware of. So while earth signs like stability and continuity, with a bit of thought, they can create so much more definition to that reality, to that continuity. They don't have to be stuck in a rut, thinking and analyzing. They can be like the wind, creating these amazing landscapes around the world that we see. Wind and solar, wind action, wind erosion, right? That's the theme. And that's why Virgo is a little bit different and teaches us a lesson. So then we come to the water signs. So we've got Cancer, Pisces, which are the crab and the fish, which spend their life mainly in water. The fish totally, the crab pretty much doesn't move too far from water. But then we've got Scorpio, and that is an odd one out in terms of the earth, of the water signs, because a scorpion lives in the desert. You don't really see a scorpion spending much of its life in water, right? And Scorpio has two rulers, Mars and Pluto, because of course, throughout most of the history of astrology, Pluto hadn't been discovered yet, so they didn't really have a ruler for Scorpio. So Scorpio is like, figuratively, a fish out of water, right? It spends its life looking for its place in the world, searching to get back to that blissful state of being in the water. So it's the odd one out in the water signs. Maybe Scorpio is the one that's not as in touch with the emotions, more somehow detached and severed from its true self and its emotions. So Scorpio represents the search for wholeness and completeness in its emotional state. Okay, let's have a look at the air signs. And yeah, hi. Yes, I would co-author. Probably not today though, but thank you for asking. We definitely like to give that a go. Thank you for that request. Yeah, so let's talk about the air signs. We have Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So Gemini is the twin, so we've got the duality. Libra is the scale, so we've also got the balance, the duality, each side of the scale. But Aquarius is a bit different. It's the water bearer. Very, very different. So what that represents is Aquarius is taking the duality and uniting it. So that's why sometimes Aquarius can be above things. They're a thinker. They don't like to get involved always on this level. They can have quite a detached approach to life. Sometimes Aquarians are not as successful as they can be simply because they like to remain a little bit aloof. And it's in this aloof space that they process that information, and they don't, very important thing with Aquarius, they don't get bogged down in right, wrong, left, right. They're able to synthesize. And the power of Aquarius is in the synthesis and finding meaning instead of getting trapped in black and white, left and right, wrong and right. Aquarius rise above that ideally and reach a perfect union where they see the whole picture without grappling over details. Right. So that is why each particular element, there's a little bit more to it than you think. And so when you're thinking about your own star sign, think about the odd one out in your star sign and what that is telling you and teaching you about the evolution of you as that particular element. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I thought that was a new slant. That's something that's slightly new to me, and I just wanted to share it with you because I thought, wow, that is a brand new way. But always remember, each star sign is a process and evolution, and within each sign there is an ability to connect with that energy to obtain completeness, right? Other than that, I've been thinking about doing something on the moon phases because obviously we all know about full moon, you know about the new moon. If you look at the calendar, they'll tell you when the first quarter and last quarter is, and you know about the crescent. But depending on what day you were born, you will be born under a certain moon phase, and that adds a new complexion and a little bit of a nuance to your personality. And it can also help you in dating, because sometimes if you match with certain moon phases, there will be a clash, but with other moon phases there can be some harmony. So other than just looking for a guy's moon sign in terms of how well you get on, if you look at his moon phase as well, that is another interesting way to analyze compatibility. So it's a short one for the moment. I may pop back on later as well, but that was what I prepared for the moment. Take care, everyone. Have a good Sunday and relax up nicely before the hectic week begins.